Hey there, it's John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to a special edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This is our June Picks of the Month episode. Now, if you've seen this series before, you kind of know what to expect here. We're going to talk about some cards that I feel are undervalued, so if you're at your LGS doing some trades or maybe picking up some singles, these are cards you might want to have on your radar, just because these are cards that all have the potential to maybe go up in value over the next few months or even years. And every episode I try to highlight a different aspect of Magic. The first episode we're kind of all across the board, but last episode was zeroed in on Modern Masters 2017 and Eternal Masters. Today, I wanted to go a little more casual. We're going to talk a lot about Commander. I have a few cards that are more competitive cards at the beginning of the video, but then I'm going to go into some casual cards that I feel like could be good pickups for you. Now, much like the other videos in this series, this will be released first to our Gold Patron members. So this is being recorded on Tuesday, and it'll be a few days before this actually is released on YouTube. So prices could have changed a little bit over the course of these last few days. Keep that in mind. But for the most part, I don't expect any major changes in the values of these cards. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the cards. And I'm going to start off with a few legacy picks. And just a few here, but the first two especially I wanted to highlight, and those are Omniscience and Show and Tell. Now, there's been some big changes to the Legacy format recently, right? We lost Sensei's Divining Top, it got banned, and that really opened up the field for a lot of decks to either maybe emerge or return. And in this case, two of the key components of the Omnitel deck are cards that I think are going to become hot. Now, Omniscience has already gone up in value, so keep that in mind, especially if you're watching this video a few days later. Right now, it's currently valued at $21.47. I still think that's very reasonable considering how good this card is and the fact that it has and will again see Legacy play. But Show and Tell, I think, is the real story here. This was reprinted in Conspiracy Take the Crown. You can get these things for $15 right now. That is an amazing deal. So, again, even if you're not interested in Legacy, maybe you want to pick these up for Commander or just a casual deck. They're good pickups, I think, at these price points. Now, this one I think we talked about in last month's video, but I want to talk about it again just because it's such an awesome deal. Vindicate from Eternal Masters, $5.36 right now. So for $5, $6, you can pick up some Vindicates. You can get a play set for like $20, $25. That's pretty awesome. This is an incredible card. Don't lose track of this one. Keep it on your radar. All right, now we're going to look at a few modern staples, maybe a few repeats from last month again, especially these first two, Damnation and Blood Moon from Modern Masters 2017. Now, I believe these were in last month's video, but both of them still under $20. Highly, highly played modern staples, also other formats as well. If you haven't picked them up yet, you may want to think about it pretty soon. And the last card I want to mention was Blinkmoth Nexus. This is from Modern Masters 2015, not 2017, but $4.28. Great value to be found there. All right, let's move on to some Commander cards. We're going to start off talking about the Cycle of Confluences. These cards are amazing. Let's bring them up real quick so you can see the prices. Now, these were not from last year's Commander product. They're from the year before, Commander 2015. And you can see the values range a little bit depending on the card. But you can get Righteous for 59 cents, Mystic for $8.46, Wretched for 90 cents, Fiery for $9, Verdant for $1.99. These are all awesome Commander cards. They're great in cubes too if you're a cube player. I wouldn't hesitate to pick up a whole cycle of these. Phenomenal cards. And there's limited space where they can be reprinted too. I mean, sure, maybe some Commander products every year or something like that, but they're not cards that can easily slide into a normal standard release or something like that. Another big theme in Commander, of course, is fast mana. I do want to point out that I am talking about cards that are not on the paper Commander ban list, but some of these could be on the Magic the Gathering Online Commander ban list. So if your play group for some reason uses that and not the regular paper one, a couple of these cards might be banned, but let's look at the four I wanted to highlight. First, you have Mana Vault at $15.50 from 5th edition. This is an awesome, awesome acceleration card. If you don't have a copy of this yet, just go ahead and pick it up. $15, very, very reasonable for this card. Granted, this was recently reprinted as a Masterpiece, but when it comes to reprints, I don't really count the Masterpiece series because they're really designed for high-end collectors. They don't really do a whole lot for the price of past versions of the cards. But Mana Vault, if you don't have a copy, there's the one you want to get your hands on real cheap. 3 on Dynamo. This particular version comes from Commander 2014. $8.26 for this card. Another fantastic acceleration card. Chrome Mox, $13 from Eternal Masters. Great price for this card again. And finally, another card that we did talk about last month, but Mana Crypt. If you didn't pick one up over the course of this past month, you got another chance. Still only at $60. I think that's very, very reasonable considering the power behind the card. Next, we're going to talk about some standard legal cards that can double as good commander cards. Now, of course, the whole trick to this is getting ahead of price spikes, trying to get cards before they become super popular and start to leave your price range. What better way to do that than look at what is out there in the world of standard right now? Now, a couple things you want to keep in mind. First off, you do want to avoid cards that are hot in the current standard meta because those are going to be a little bit inflated at the time. So if a card is not currently a hot standard card, or maybe it's rotating out or about to rotate out, then those are probably good times to pick it up. So let's look at the 8 cards I wanted to feature, and I'll quickly bring up the prices here. First, we have Gonti, Lord of Luxury. Really awesome commander card. There's a lot you can do with this in Commander, and I've even seen this make its way into some standard decks. Combustible Gearhulk, strong card, also plays a nice political game at $2.24. Nissa Vital Force, 5-drop Planeswalker with a lot of power behind her for under $5. Vizier of the Menagerie. Now, this one I'm not real comfortable paying $7.24 for right now. I would wait a little bit on this card. It is creeping down slowly but surely. Maybe $5 I'd feel a little more comfortable, but I wanted to still talk about it today to just keep an eye on it. Great card for accelerating your commander deck. Oblivion Sower, another mythic rare. This one, of course, being from Battle for Zendikar, only $1.27. Scrap Trawler for artifacts, 59 cents right now from Kaladesh. Walking Ballista, the most expensive card on the page, $11.51. It has had a lot of success in Standard, but it's a great card. I wouldn't mind spending like $10, or if you can get it maybe a little cheaper over the next few months, it's definitely a card to keep an eye on. And finally, Panharmonicon, already doing great things in Commander at $2.46. Alright, to wrap things up, I wanted to talk about 6 more cards. These are a little bit older cards, but a lot of times they fly under the radar and I think are currently undervalued. We're going to start off with Cauldron Dance at 42 cents from Invasion. Now, this is an interesting card. It's a instant, you can only play it during combat, but it kind of gives you almost like a Hell's Caretaker effect. Really messes up your opponent's combat. A lot of fun, and under 50 cents. Next, you have Artifact Mutation at 60 cents. This is from the most recent Commander series, Commander 2016. Now, Artifact Mutation does 2 things that you want to do in Commander. It destroys artifacts, and if you're in a token generation deck, it makes tokens. What more can you ask for? Under $1. Domri Raid. Now, this is the Modern Masters 2017 version. When this was first spoiled, a lot of players were kind of disappointed that this was one of the mythics in the set. But you know what? Where modern players are disappointed, sometimes Commander players can sneak in and get a deal. You can pick up this 3-drop Planeswalker with a lot of power behind him for just $3.16 right now. Dakin Blackblade. Now, this one maybe is more of a sentimental pick. It's not the most powerful card we're going to talk about today. It actually works well in any kind of Lands Matters decks where you're building out a big mana base. It doesn't have evasion or anything, but it's one of the classic cards. You can get the Chronicles version for just 65 cents. Magister Sphinx. $4 right now for the Arch Enemy version of this card. Now, it's a little political. You gotta be careful when you play this card. But if you have maybe a Pillow Fort style deck, this is very powerful, especially with a little flicker behind it. Realm Razor from Shards of Allura. 32 cents for this card. Another card that kind of messes with the whole board state. So if you're playing with a lot of mana rocks or various creature sources of mana, something like that, this is a nice card to kind of get behind, especially again if you're in a Pillow Fort style build. Last card we're going to talk about today, Explorer Scope, just 16 cents for the Zendikar versus Eldrazi version of the card. And it's really cheap, 1 to cast, 1 to equip, and simply it can just help you power through some of the lands on top of your deck. Really good card for Commander. Alright, having said that, those are the cards for today. Now, I went a little bit more casual this week and tried to appeal to maybe some of those summer Commander players, right? This summer is a good time to kind of go to your LGS, play some casual Magic, some Commander, play with friends. That's what the summer's all about. However, next month, I'm going to take a turn. We're going to go a little more aggressive and start looking at some of the older cards in Magic. Maybe, again, some undervalued, some good deals that are out there. Now, I warn you, these won't be cheap cards. But we're going to look at some real old classic ones next time around. So until then, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.